Welcome back to Run the Atlas. Today I'm talking about a very unexpected travel location, Saskatchewan, Canada. This is one of the 10 provinces in Canada and one of the less visited provinces. And I'm going to tell you the things that you need to know before visiting here and also bust some of the myths about this region. I just returned from a trip here to Saskatchewan. I visited Regina, which is the capital of the province, as well as Saskatoon, which is the most populous city in the province, as well as many of the farms and the towns in between, which gave me a really great overall view of the province. And I learned so many things that I never knew about this region. Before we begin, be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss any of our upcoming travel videos. So first things first, let's put Saskatchewan on the map. I'm gonna put a map right here. We are in the west central region of Canada, and this is known as a landlocked area, the flat plains, the prairies, if you will. This is a region that grows a lot of the crops for North America and Canada. In fact, it is the largest exporter of peas, lentils, durum wheat, mustard seed, canola, flaxseed, and oats, and it produces over 50% of Canada's wheat. Even on the flag, you'll notice that there are grains, and pretty much anything having to do with Saskatchewan has some sort of symbol of grains. And because of all this production and this bountiful region of Saskatchewan, we have a very creative food scene. You can get some of the most creative dishes I've seen and the most creative beers I've seen. Did you know that they have beers here made out of lentils? It's very low in alcohol and it has the taste of maybe a hop, but it's made out of lentils. We found durum wheat beers, Szechuan pepper beers. We also found beers made out of Saskatoon berries. It was very interesting and they're all worth a try. We recommend visiting if you are a beer lover. As far as the food goes, you'll notice a lot of farm-to-table cuisine. The farmers markets are very popular. Pickling is also popular, so you'll notice a lot of pickled vegetables. Pickling is a popular pastime in this region. So notice that the food and vegetables tend to grow quite large here because there's a large amount of sunlight in the region. So zucchini and squash, they'll grow larger than life here. When you look at Saskatchewan on the map, you'll notice just how north it is. Further north than Fargo, North Dakota, and Chicago, some of the coldest cities in the United States.
Looks like she's gonna turn cold tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
And so yes, it can get very cold here and we'll get to that later, but it can also get very warm and you can get a suntan here. During our visit, it reached about 33 degrees Celsius in September. And so we definitely needed shorts and sunscreen, but it can also get quite cold at night. So the temperature variation between night and day is quite drastic. And also the temperature variation within the week can be the difference between winter and summer. Speaking of warm weather, did you know that you will find seagulls here in Saskatchewan? At the Lake Wascana in Regina, we noticed plenty of seagulls. We couldn't believe it. We're so far from the ocean and the beach, yet they like to live here on the lake. So even though this is a landlocked province, there are a lot of lakes and rivers here, and that is the hub of the recreational activity here in Saskatchewan. You'll notice a lot of people canoeing, kayaking, paddleboarding, even jet skiing on the lake or river. However, when it does get cold here, a lot of the bodies of water freeze over and they turn into recreation for winter sports. So you'll notice curling, ice skating, even cross-country skiing. Also during the wintertime and throughout the year in general, indoor pools are really popular. And we were really surprised to find the Dead Sea of Canada right here in Saskatchewan. It's fed by a thermal pool and it's some of the most therapeutic waters that we've ever experienced. A couple notes about driving during the wintertime, and this is from the locals. The cars have plugs on them, and this is so that they can warm up before you enter your vehicle. That was really shocking to me because living in California during wintertime, you just start the car and go. There's no need to warm up. Saskatchewan is known for being a very flat province. In fact, locals joke around about it. They say, if you lose your dog, you can watch them run away for 3 days straight because they'll just run towards the horizon and you'll be able to watch them go the entire time. However, did you know that this region used to be hilly and mountainous, but those hills eroded over time? Some of them still exist to this day, for example, the Cypress Hills area, and you'll also notice some buffalo mounds. However, when you are driving and traveling through Saskatchewan, the roads are pretty flat. And because of that, there is some beauty to this region. You'll notice the prairies and the wheat fields, they dance in the wind, which is really beautiful. The sky seems to go on forever. I mean, you'll see layers upon layers of clouds as you drive, which is unlike anything else I've ever seen. Most of the areas, especially where I live in California, are mountainous, and so there's always something breaking up the clouds. But here they go on forever, and they call this region the land of the living skies. It's even on the license plate, and it is quite beautiful to watch. You'll notice as you're driving, the changing colors of the crops is very mesmerizing. There's even a lot of art depicting this as well. You'll see like layers of yellow mixed with green, and then it'll kind of change in different patterns, and it's really beautiful. So Saskatchewan is a relatively new region to Canada in terms of its population. It became a province in 1905, so that was a little over 100 years ago. The cities here are very approachable. You'll notice that you can get anywhere pretty much within 3 songs on your playlist. If you are going out of town or between Saskatoon and Regina, you will need to queue up some podcasts. But on the radio, we did notice a lot of country music and also French music, which was very surprising. Speaking of language here, French is not one of the top spoken languages. The third most frequently spoken language here in Saskatchewan is Cree, which is an Aboriginal native language. Over 100,000 people speak Cree. It has one of the coolest alphabets I've ever seen. It's very geometric, and you'll notice many of the signs will have Cree underneath. I love the fact that it's very frequently represented as well. So let's talk briefly about the winter time here. We did not spend the winter time in Saskatchewan. However, we were talking to the locals and they were saying there is quite a bit to do here in this region during winter time. Pretty much everything that you do outdoors turns into indoor experiences. There's also a number of museums that are really cool. We recommend going to the Royal Canadian Mounted Police Museum. And this is a heritage center celebrating Canadian Royal Mounted Police, otherwise known as Mounties. And you'll see them with very regal red uniforms, usually mounted on a horse. It's a very interesting tradition here in Canada, and anyone who wants to become a Mountie has to train here in Saskatchewan. Driving is really popular in this region. It's not uncommon for locals to drive 2-3 hours to get to the next province or next town. In fact, the roadways here are very approachable and very easy to navigate. They're usually just one straight line, sometimes a split highway, which makes things nicer for the driver as well. Queue up some podcasts and maybe you will be in Banff in the next few hours. Along the roads, we were really surprised to find, yes, there are a lot of farms, but we even found a brewery, a very exciting brewery called Nokomis. And this is right alongside the road between Regina and Saskatoon. We recommend visiting here. It was one of our favorites, and they served this delicious Saskatoon berry sour we brought some home. So there you have it. We hope that you enjoy the land of the living skies, the prairie lands of Saskatchewan. This region really challenged us to look beneath the surface and really enjoy some of the things that may have been overlooked by other cities. We really enjoyed the fact that the city was very approachable and also much less expensive than other regions of Canada. Check out our vlogs of Saskatchewan and like and subscribe for more travel videos. We'll catch you in the next one.